So I went ahead and did it. I bought a MacBook Pro.
Whoa, just hold the phone. Josh, you have a full-blown desktop PC in your background. You have all the kit. Why did you buy a MacBook Pro? Well, that's just the thing. So as you can see, I went ahead and bought myself a MacBook Pro 16-inch. Now, I'm in the creative industry, so I ended up caving under the pressure to buy an Apple product. Now, I was a strict Windows user. I've had Windows machines all my life. I've had Windows laptops, many Windows laptops, and I eventually moved over to desktop PC territory. And now I've gone and bought a Mac. So I've never actually owned a MacBook, never have ever actually used one. I was just jumping on the hype train of, Apple released a new product, let's all head on it. Look at this, the bloody wheels on their Mac Pro, what is this? The cheese grater. Like, I was just jumping on all of that hype train and never actually using an Apple product for myself. I've had iPhones in the past, I had an iPad when I was 12, but I've never owned a MacBook or a Mac. I would always jump on the Linus Tech Tips videos and get all my information from there without actually using the device itself. So within my creative industry, that's where I am. I take a lot of photos and videos and I need editing software. And my college was also pushing me to get a Mac as my old Windows machine was literally dying. It whispered to me in the night that it was dying and I was like, fam, you've got to hold on. And then it died. So here I am with my new MacBook Pro. When I got it, I decided to go in completely with open eyes and just experiment with it. I said, you know what, I'm just going to have fun with it, I'm just going to experiment with it, and I'm going to go in with an unbiased opinion. And I'm going to say this. It is amazing. I'm going to list the reasons why it has actually become my daily driver over my desktop Windows PC. So, in terms of the specs, I got the extreme baseline model as that was literally what I could afford. So I got the baseline model with the 6-core i7 2.6 gigahertz speed, 16 gigs RAM, the 512 gig SSD as I do work with hard drives, so that's not really a problem for me, and I got the baseline 5300M 4 gig graphics. So I've been using the MacBook Pro for roughly about 2 to 3 months now, and literally I am so amazed. I was actually shocked by how good it was and how much I'm actually enjoying it, which is actually what I was not expecting. I was expecting myself to be like, why is this not there? Why can't I hear this all? But it was actually great. So let me explain to you why I find it so great and why it has ended up replacing my desktop PC as my daily driver. Okay, but before we go into it, I just have to say that all of this is my personal opinion and personal preference, so just keep that in mind. So the first reason we'll be talking about is ease of use. Now, this is something that my old Windows laptop couldn't do. My old Windows laptop was horrendous to say the least, and it was really struggling to the point that 20 minutes of battery life was peak performance. So how does this thing incorporate ease of use? Well, the best thing that I found is for Mac is you can be working on the night before, you could be working, doing everything, and you can leave all your tabs open, everything. Photoshop, Chrome, everything. Leave all your windows open. You simply close the device, you can go to bed, wake up the next day, open it up, and resume exactly where you were with it losing a few percentage. And that for me is just something really amazing instead of waiting for boot up times every time I want to use the device. So I know this might be a hard sore for a few Windows users, but macOS is great. Now, a mate of mine said it best. When I was talking about getting a Mac, he was like, macOS is for dummies, it's so stupid, it's so easy. And that's literally it. macOS is so easy to use. I was just in shock about how easy it is to navigate around the desktop, to get access to everything, and don't even get me started on Spotlight. Just press Command Space and you type in whatever you want and you have access to every single thing related to what you type in. If you type in document, anything with the word document in will come up. Folder names, PDF titles, words you've used in PDFs, Google searches, Siri will even tell you everything about it. It's all there. And this is something that Windows search feature could really use, because that Windows search feature, I'm feeling nauseous just thinking about it. And also something that I never thought I'd actually enjoy that much is the little icon bar at the bottom that contains all your apps that you use on a regular basis. Your desktop is clean, no more clutter or any of that. It's all arranged right there, nice and neat. And also, the multiple desktop feature is something I use straight away. I had like 5 desktops when I had this thing. I was just going through all the desktops and like, yo, this is insane. And I really feel like Windows could learn something from this. And now, the trackpad. So we know that Apple always makes incredibly big trackpads, and honestly, I think we can't fault them here. Windows guys, PC guys, we've got to give it to Apple. They make the best trackpads on the market.
Oh, he needs some milk!
And I will say Windows is catching up, but after using this trackpad, it was insane. This thing is just so damn big, so damn responsive, it's incredible. I remember even being in a lecture with a mate of mine, and he has a Windows machine, one of those ROG hectic ones, and he plugs in a mouse when he uses it. When I opened my Mac and I started using the trackpad, he says, bro, you're crazy, just use a mouse. But when I use this trackpad, I don't need a mouse. Now I've had a desktop PC, I've used mice, I've got a Razer Death Adder, it's an incredible mouse, but this trackpad is just insane. I find that when I use it, I actually think it works better than a mouse. But that might be because of macOS gestures are optimized to be with this trackpad. So that's why I think it's just better than a mouse actually. And the thing is, these gestures incorporated into macOS are insane. Navigating around your desktop is incredible. These gestures are snappy, quick, easy, and navigating around is amazing. This trackpad is also incorporated into the Adobe Programs. You no longer have to press Shift square bracket to zoom in. You literally just expand on the trackpad, and that for me is insane. The third reason why my MacBook Pro has replaced my desktop PC is that it is faster. Yes, my MacBook Pro 16-inch is faster than my desktop PC. So, what are the specs? So, my desktop has a Ryzen 5 1500X quad-core, a GTX 1070 with 8 gigs of VRAM, 16 gigs of RAM at 3200 MHz speed, a 250 gig SSD boot drive, and a 3TB hard drive, which is where I store all my footage. So within there, you can see that there are similarities as well as differences, with the main difference being the graphics card on the PC side and the processor on the MacBook's side. But that graphical difference will mainly show in games, which is something I don't do on my MacBook. So my desktop PC has a quad-core processor, whereas my MacBook Pro 16-inch has a hexa-core processor. And those extra 2 cores are actually really handy. Even just browsing around on the system, I've found that it actually is more snappy. And this actually adds to the multitasking feature on this thing. Rendering a 4K video while editing a photo in Photoshop while browsing Chrome at the same time has never felt more easier. And even when I got this device, because I was doubtful about Apple, I was like, there's no ways they can make such a good device. There's no ways this thing's actually good. So I went on and I opened Photoshop, Premiere Pro, Illustrator, and Lightroom all at the same time. I just went boom, boom, boom. I was like, all of you must open. And I was shocked. Bang, 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 bang. They all opened at once. And I was shocked. And this is something that my desktop PC even struggles to do. After clicking about first two Premiere Pro and Photoshop, I get the Windows loading bar, and I'm like, And now the speakers as well as the microphone. Now there are multiple times when you just want to sit down, edit a video, a photo, listen to music, watch on YouTube, whatever, but you don't want to put on big pair, bulky headphones. And I feel like this thing fits that profile exactly. The speakers on here are brilliant. They are phenomenal. They are amazing. The best part about these speakers is here you can have them blaring at full blast, bass boosting, everything slamming, and the keyboard remains dead still. And obviously this is the new technology that Apple has incorporated into their speakers, and I'll give them big credit here. These speakers are so great to the point that I've even resorted to editing my videos on them. I don't use headphones or earphones. I edit the video loud on the speakers, and they are really incredible for me to trust them with my Premiere Pro edits.
And you just count when you know it'll only get.
Another great part about these speakers is if I just want to relocate, I can do that. There's no strings attached, there's no cables, there's no headphones. I can simply close the lid, relocate when I do, open it up, and continue editing on it. The microphone is also amazing. Now, Apple have quoted this to be like a stereo quality microphone with a triple microphone array, and it is really that good. And I've actually resorted to using it in a lot of my voiceovers. So this is a microphone test on the MacBook Pro 16-inch while I am sitting in a room with my desktop PC running next to me. This for me is just when this device becomes a multimedia machine. You can work on it anywhere if you want. You need no cables, no strings attached, nothing. This thing for me is just easy to use. You can relocate wherever you want to do, edit videos, Skype call, photos, anything. The speakers are amazing. The microphone is so great. The best part about it is all of this multimedia action can just sit in your lap, on your bed, on your couch with you, or on your desk. It's just so great. So now moving on to another great feature, which is notes as well as pages. Now I'm not gonna lie, when I was thinking of moving over to the Mac, I was quite skeptical in terms of how I would continue writing my essays, research paper, as well as the book that I'm currently writing. So I was using Microsoft Word for all of that, and what I noticed is the license will not carry over onto my Mac. So I was like, a problem. So I was worried, as I did not want to end up having to use Google Docs for everything, as I'm not always connected to Wi-Fi. But then when I got the Mac, I saw an application called Pages, and I was shocked by how good this was. I was thinking, oh, this is some crap bloatware that Apple have just put on, it's rubbish, whatever. And then I started using it, and I was like, this is actually incredible. Pages has everything you need along the side of the screen with everything, the text size, the fonts, bullet points, everything. At the top, you've got all the bars to insert images, make graphs, anything. So I just think Pages is so great, and I've even incorporated all my research papers and projects onto it. Another great feature that I think about Pages is how it incorporates the touch bar into its use. Now, when I got the Mac, I didn't know how to navigate that well in certain programs or certain applications that Apple has pre-installed, and this is where I'll say it. That touch bar actually helped. I was like, oh, it's all on the touch bar, and then I started moving around and I got everything right. What I also love about Pages is how it has preset font sizes, like headings, titles, body. I just tap on the touch bar, slide along to whichever I want to use, headings, titles, or just the body of the text, tap on it, done. Easy. And now moving on to notes. Now I know that on the iPhones and the iPads this thing is great, but on my MacBook it is even better. You have a quick idea, need to quickly jot something down, easy as chips. Boom, open up, notes, done. You can type there, you can make checklists, and actually find that this is another app that goes wow with the touch bar. Notes for me has just been so great. I put everything on there, all my checklists, all my references for research, everything. And it's quick and easy, and I've actually found that Notes is great. It is much better than the text document, as well as the notepad that Windows has. And now, moving on to the next feature, we have the Adobe Programs. Now, it is known that the Adobe Programs are just well optimized to run on MacBooks, and I literally noticed that. And it actually led to me enjoying using these programs a lot more. And seeing that I use these programs almost every day with the likes of Photoshop, Illustrator, and Premiere Pro, I wanted to enjoy them, and this Mac definitely provided. So moving on to the final feature for me of why my MacBook Pro 16-inch replaced my desktop PC would be the battery life as well as the portability. Now this thing obviously has the maximum amount that you're allowed to bring on airplanes, 100 watt hours, and a 96 watt hour brick to charge it, but this thing is amazing. Obviously, if you're editing videos or doing some heavy workload, this thing does obviously not last the full 11 hours, it lasts like 2, 3, or 4, and that's completely fine by me. But while I'm at college and I'm working, and most of the day we're just on the internet or typing documents, it lasts my entire day at college. Also, as stated prior, I said that this MacBook can do all the work my desktop can, as well as more, with the fact that I can be sitting at my desk editing a video, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to be here anymore, simply close it, move off, and I can continue editing a photo or video at my couch, and that for me is the best part. So, to end it all off, I've shown you all of my personal reasons why this MacBook Pro has replaced my desktop PC as my daily driver, but that is not without its faults. So, when I got the MacBook Pro, I knew that I was getting into the dongle life. Yes, and there's been countless times when I have tried to plug a USB into this thing and stood there in shock and realized I need to plug in my dongle. Now, this may just be my dongle or the MacBook, but sometimes I plug in the dongle with USBs in it and it doesn't scan the USBs. I have to unplug it and plug it back in again in order to do that. So guys, unfortunately, the rest of this clip got corrupted and I was unable to use the footage. So I'm just recording a voiceover here and you'll run some B-roll to say what I was talking about. The webcam is terrible. It's 720p, it's the same 720p camera that I've been using for years. It's just weird how a company that produces the best phone cameras on the market produces terrible webcams. But personally, I don't use the webcam at all, so I'm not really affected by this problem. And now, the touch bar.
Got him!
As I said, the touch bar is very useful in some applications and useless in others. And there's only been one problem with this touch bar, and that's the fact that it is freezing on me only one. And all I had to do was put the MacBook to sleep, and then wake it up again, and the touch bar was back to normal. Any thoughts or opinions, guys, drop it down below. I will be reading all the comments and letting you know what I think. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. It really helps me out a lot and helps push my videos onto other people. If you enjoy this content and you want to see more of it, please subscribe. And until next time, much love. Any thoughts or opinions, guys, drop it down below. I will be reading all the comments and letting you know what I think. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. It really helps me out a lot and helps push my videos onto other people. If you enjoy this content and you want to see more of it, please subscribe. And until next time, much love.